I met this woman at a restaurant for our first date. We ordered drinks before dinner. I got carded, she didn't. Commenced foul mood all evening. Made worse when she saw me leave the waiter a generous tip. No thank you to a second date. Sheesh. Maybe it's all the lines on her face from scowling at everything. Those do age a person. A friend set me up with this amazing woman. We had a great evening and she invited me to follow her back to her place. We had driven separately. She served us some wine and we started making out on the couch. Things were getting hot and heavy when I suddenly sneezed. And sneezed again, and felt my eyes watering. Pretty soon they were almost swollen shut. That's when I realized, in all my excitement to get with her, I had forgotten about my severe cat allergy. Turns out, she had 2 of them. I had left my EpiPen in the car and had to practically run out of her apartment. We both agreed that a second date wasn't in the works. We were making out and she bit my lip and then tugged, just like that scene in the Indiana Jones movie. Except she drew blood, which then proceeded to drip onto my nice white shirt. I looked like a crime scene. Date over. Maybe she was just a huge Dateline fan and wanted to get her own episode? I had an amazing first date with a woman and we go back to her place to hang out. We had been drinking all night, so our conversation was pretty wild. She then asked, if I could sleep with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be? In my drunken idiocy, I said, Jesus. I swear I saw her soul leave her body as she asked why I would say that. My response was something along the lines of, then I'll be the only person who could ever say that he slept with Jesus. She asked me to leave and ghosted me. In hindsight, I don't blame her. I'm not a smart drunk. I was probably 19 and took a girl to see The Passion of the Christ for a first date. I have no clue what I was thinking. It was not a first date film. I was also too embarrassed to ask her out again. Well, maybe you were thinking that. Yeah, I got nothing. A guy at work asked me out and said he wanted to take me to his favorite pizza place. Sounds great. I'm perfectly okay with a casual date. Turns out, he wanted me to watch him try their Eat This Giant Pizza in 15 minutes and win $500 challenge. So I'm sitting one table over while he's scarfing down this huge pizza without even chewing. He ended up vomiting about halfway through, which disqualified him from the challenge. It also ended our date. We were on the porch kissing goodnight. He leaned into my ear, and I was expecting something sexy and sweet. Instead, he whispered very excitedly, "Pee on me." Our first date. Oh, and did I mention I still lived with my parents at the time? Sorry, but I will never pee on you, much less on my parents' front porch. I said goodnight and hustled inside as quick as I could and refused to take his calls after that. First date. After a little while, she says, "Just so you know, if we keep dating, you can't ever break up with me. I have powerful attorney." I thought she meant that she had a good attorney who might sue, so I asked the name of this powerful attorney. She said no one, that she had powerful attorney over anyone she dated. Light bulb moment, and I asked if she meant power of attorney. Her response was, "Whatever, you can't break up with me, I can only break up with you." Now that I've said it, it's a legally binding contract because of my powerful attorney. I couldn't stop laughing as I paid for my food and left. Went to Olive Garden with who I thought was a great guy, till the waitress said to me when he got up to use the bathroom, "I know him, run." That's what I call really earning your tips. This was a Tinder date and we met outside the restaurant. Before we even walked in, she says out of the blue, "Just so you know, I'm not paying for anything and there will be no sex tonight." It was so jarring that I had no response but just went on with the date. Later in conversation, she asked me again what I did for a living, and I reminded her that I'm an accountant. Her, "So could you steal people's money if you really had to?" Or, "How much money do you make yourself?" That was it. I asked for the bill and called it a night. We had finished dinner and were considering grabbing a movie or dessert or something. He got a phone call, listened for a minute, and then turned to me and said it was a friend inviting him to a party, so he needed to know if I was going to fuck him or not. He asked the question in complete seriousness, like you ask someone if they need a ride home. I just looked at him in shock and shook my head no. He then waved me down, finished his call, said goodnight to me, and walked away. Never heard from him again. Thank goodness. Wedding ring fell out of his pocket during dinner. That's it. You win. Come on up and collect your prize. Chatted with a guy online for a few days and then agreed to a first date. He said he had something special in mind and told me where and when to meet. I showed up and what do you know, it was a Weight Watchers meeting. He was in the lobby and started to give me a sales pitch, that it would be great if I lost a few pounds, his mom and sister have had good success with WW. Once it sunk in as to what was really going on, I laughed in his face and left. I went on a blind date with a guy. When I showed up to the restaurant, he picked me up and swung me around full circle. He then put me down and patted the top of my head, said he was excited to see how tiny and cute I was. I just turned around and left and completely ghosted him everywhere. Yeah, this definitely has "don't let this guy within 100 yards of a school" vibes. First date. We met at the movies and I said I'd get our tickets if he got us some popcorn and sodas. We then met at the theater door and he has one large popcorn. I thought, kinda gross to share on a first date, but okay, there's enough for two. We get settled into our seats and I reach for the tub. He pushes my hand away and gives me, get this, one piece of popcorn. He then said that should be enough. He was absolutely serious. I just reached over him a few times and grabbed a handful during the movie. We barely even said goodbye after the film, and no, there was no second date. We had a breakfast date. He put ketchup across everything on his plate, including pancakes and eggs. He then proceeded to chop it all together like a salad. I knew right at that moment that there was not going to be a second date. I cannot tell you how much I agree with you on this one. Our first date, he kept going on and on about how he liked women with dark hair and eyes. They're so exotic, mysterious, etc. I'm blonde with blue eyes. We met through a dating app and had chatted online before our date, so he knew what I looked like. When I finally asked why he went out with me when he obviously didn't prefer how I looked, he said it was like wanting steak but getting chicken instead. Him, chicken is good too. What? I turned him down for a second date. Went out with this amazing girl in college. We had a great time and everything seemed to click. The conversation somehow got around to deal breakers. I can't remember mine, probably cheating or whatever. Her deal breaker? Men with hairy backs. I'm Iranian. Date over. Have you ever heard of this product called Nair? It works pretty good on back hair, or so I've been told. Met a guy for coffee. He told me he was married, but that his wife was flexible. Unfortunately for him, I'm not. I walked out right then and ghosted him everywhere. $50 says flexible equals absolutely in the dark about her husband being a jackass. Our first date. After dinner, he asked if I was ready to go back to our place. Our place? He then told me that he assumed we would just move in together, so he had fixed up his apartment to make it our place. He was totally nonchalant, like telling me what time it was. Did I mention it was our first date? And yes, it was also our last date. We met online and his dating profile said he was 6'2". I'm 5'3" and wear low heels on dates. So imagine my surprise when he walked up to me outside the restaurant and we're eye to eye. Worse, he then got angry at me and accused me of lying about my height, insisting I was over 6 feet tall. It was absolutely surreal. Fortunately, he then stormed off, so we didn't even attempt to get through the date. Yikes! This is what is called dodging a bullet. Better yet, dodging a full-on nuclear warhead. I hit it off with this guy at work, but then found out that he's pretty religious while I'm atheist. He invited me to some Come to Jesus service, and I agreed, as I'm always up for learning about other people's beliefs. The priest, or whomever it was, went on about the sanctity of life and not violating God's gift and whatever. He then asked if someone needed stem cells to walk again, would anyone agree to that? My hand shot up. Suddenly, everyone, including my date, was giving me the stink eye. I just shrugged and later told my coworker he was full of crap and that we never needed to socialize again. I went to drive her home and accidentally drove to my ex-girlfriend's house out of habit. I didn't even realize it until I pulled into the driveway and my date said that it wasn't her house. Before I could pull away, my ex came out the front door yelling at me to leave. My date assumed I did it to annoy my ex or make them both jealous or whatever. She didn't believe it was an honest mistake and told me to never call her again. I pay a lot more attention to where I'm going on a date since then.